Hey, everybody. Welcome to Why We Love Horror, episode 72.
Ooh.
I Love Horror 3.0, episode 72. Who cares? Nobody cares what the 3.0. That's just for me because I have, low-grade autism. I'm JWMaher. That's Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks. How you guys doing today?
We're very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, varying degrees, I guess, if we're judging it by the movie we've seen. Because, spoiler alert, tonight we do not all agree.
Let's get ready to disagree. Presents.
You have a presence here. It's trying to figure you out. It's trying to connect to you.
She just stopped breathing. Dead in her own bed. Can you imagine the parents finding her?
That is not anyone's intention.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Psychopath. I am not gonna live like this.
It's suffering. Just like you are.
Can I just say one thing? I'm starting to hate trailers. I just fucking hate them. Like,
Welcome.
I do too.
Welcome to the club, guys. They
Like,
don't make movies better. They make them worse. We see everything.
I mean, whether or not we like or hate this movie, and which one of us likes and hates this movie, or likes this movie, regardless, that trailer is like so many other trailers, so hyperbolic. And I'm not trying to sound edgy, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm a tough boy. Presence is not scary, nor is it anywhere near the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's more like heartwarming, I guess, in a way. But like, it's definitely not scary.
I would say
it's got emotion.
If you're gonna be dramatic, maybe you could say by the end it's haunting. Like maybe
there's a disturbing thread through the movie, but I was like, wow, but I was never scared. I was never like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
When was the last time a movie said it's the scariest movie ever? That was right. Never.
Last week. No, every movie's the scariest movie. Like I don't know. That this is a discussion for another day. I'm not really at a point that I go to horror movies to be scared. I go there to watch a good movie.
And it's a genre where there's a lot more freedom to express in different ways. Like this, I mean, we've seen A Ghost Story before. That's not a horror movie. I'm not sounding like a brave boy there, but that would be like a movie I guess I'd immediately think of with this movie. But how many people saw A Ghost Story besides film Twitter? Like, I get it. I love A Ghost Story. I'm an A24 boy till I die. But like at the same point here, I do think this is a different approach to it. It's ultimately a family drama with some disturbing aspects.
Which exactly. I think there should be, because I mean, you're right. With the trailer, it puts expectations. And I think there probably were expectations for this movie to be a little bit more creepier, especially with the whole gimmick being it's from the point of view of the spirit or ghost or whatever it is.
Or the presence.
So I think there were probably some expectations, and especially when you're going to put like scariest movie or whatever in the trailer, that just puts that out there. And I think people are expecting something going in. I was, but that's not why I didn't particularly like this movie that much.
Yeah, I think the scariest part of the movie, without spoiling anything, isn't even the ghost story. There's another thing in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Way more disturbing and scarier to certain people, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. But let me take a crack at the synopsis here. So a family moves into a house because the son is the next Michael Phelps, and they need to be at a certain high school for the swim team. But there's a ghost in the house, or a presence, that's been there before them, and it will be there after them. And it definitely is interested in the daughter. The ghost seems particularly interested in the daughter. And we get to see some family drama unfold around everything. And there's a very, very interesting non-family member character who reveals themselves throughout the movie. That's Presence.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts, guys. Like, what do you think of Presence? Aaron, you first.
So I was pretty sucked into this movie from the beginning. I do think, yes, obviously the cinematography is what is going to attract people to this movie, but this is done very, very well. It's not just for gimmick's sake. It feels like how the camera moves about. I assumed it was on a dolly the whole time. Apparently it was Steven fucking Soderbergh holding the camera the whole time, which is just like this old.
How did he navigate those steps like that?
I don't know.
It glides down the steps.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's some sort of movie magic involved, but overall, he's the one who's holding the camera in this. It's Steven Soderbergh's whole filmography is just all over the place. It really is every type of movie. He's had one other horror movie, I'd say, in Unsane, which I enjoyed quite a bit. I think the gimmick there was a little more gimmicky. Here, it was much more organically woven into the story. But right away, the cinematography got me really into the movie. I think that for me, the characters were written well, albeit obvious, but I do think they were written well. And especially as the movie unfolds, it's like patiently unfolding over the 89 minutes, which, one of my critiques could be there's a little bit too much meandering and it could have been a 70-minute movie, which sounds crazy, but I get it. You can't release a 70-minute movie if you're in Neon, unfortunately. So 89 minutes, it is a little more fleshed out family drama, a little more drama with Julia Fox as the realtor from Uncut Gems, or Uncut Gems. Sorry. Great to see her back. And then the highlight for me, I mean, honestly, the one who keeps the family glued together is the father in Chris Sullivan, who apparently was Taserface in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Hell yeah, he was.
An MCU movie. Chris Sullivan, I'm a fan of you now. You're in the Chris group with Christopher Abbott. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, also one of the stars of This Is Us. We'll get to that some other time.
Great.
Abby, your thoughts?
So I wasn't as hot on this movie. I didn't hate it or anything like that. I have had more time to think about it. We saw it on Friday, so I've had a little bit of time to think more on it. Because while I was watching it, I'm just kind of like, I don't know why this is just not really working for me that much. I think my biggest gripes about this movie is mainly the characters in this. I would say about half of the family I liked a lot. The dad and the daughter being the two characters that I did like. I think they were really good. And then the mom and the son were not. I didn't like them at all. I actually I really disliked them. And what I was thinking more on when I was watching it and kind of thinking more on it is a lot of people have been comparing this movie to something like In a Violent Nature that came out last year, where that was from the point of view of the serial killer or the slasher killer. It is very similar, but I feel like in that movie, you were you were in the perspective of a certain character, and that character, whether you liked it or not, had a little bit of a purpose. And the Presence did have a purpose in this movie.
You just had to wait till the end to get to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I do think clues are given before the end, but we'll get to that.
Right. But for most of this movie, it felt like, okay, you're just like this aimless spirit because you don't know what it is until the end, following a family who's having all of these issues, half of which I just didn't like. I didn't like watching the mom or the son and whatever weird thing they had going on. The son is incredibly and again, I know that it can be realistic, but the son is incredibly hostile and rude to the sister, which again, I mean, that is supposed to make the ending more impactful. It just didn't impact me because I didn't like them.
Let me tell some spoilers as I get into my description of it. Because Abby's hitting on a few things. I thought the movie was really good. I do think to Aaron's point, like they do flesh it out with like certain veins of family drama, I guess, and only one of the family dramas is like fully fleshed out because something's also going. Well, first of all, the mom clearly wants to fuck the kid. I mean, let's get that. Lucy Liu wants to sleep with her son in this movie.
Yes,
it's real weird. It's like a Brazzers.
I know moms like this.
Yeah. Whatever. But then there's also a drama where like is she like tax evading? Like she's doing something monetarily shady, and like the dad wants maybe to get a divorce so he doesn't go to jail too. That happens. Chloe's backstory is that she was, I guess, more than friends with this other girl who died suspiciously with drugs in her system. And then the son is just like all of my son's friends. He is a sporto jock douchebag. Sorry, Logan.
He would get along with Alex Wolff's character from Hereditary brilliantly. Like they'd be smoking a bowl underneath the bleachers every day. Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. He loves Michael. They're big time swimmer. Yeah, so basically they move into this house. You're right. We learn right away that I don't know what Lucy Liu's character's name is. Let's see. Rebecca and her son Tyler are like one track, like douche and douchette. Chris Sullivan's character, the dad, Chris. Big huge heart, like a huge heart. And Chloe has PTSD. That's so. I'll kick it back over to you. What do you guys notice about the main plots of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, like for the most part, it's just like I as somebody who also enjoyed the movie, the characters that are assholes were assholes with a purpose, and maybe it was a little bit over the top, but also it's like so are assholes. So at the same point, like Mills Lane, I'll allow it. Yeah, I thought Claire was a really sympathetic character before anything was even happening to her. Like you really do care for her. You can like feel that something more than what's being said has happened to her. And, you know, it's just like, there was like, maybe it's hard to tell now. This movie does a really good trick with it as it goes, but like, you do feel like emotion from the camera with the movements. It's like really well done by, like, you feel like the presence wanting to get closer specifically to Claire, and you felt a distance from the rest of the family that I don't know if I'm putting on the movie afterwards.
Barely pays attention to the rest of the family. It just happens to overhear something.
Like, and then, and you know, it's like, like it was like, you know, I was like, I wasn't really wondering how this presence was connected to Claire. I guess I should have been.
Well, and I think the presence also does a really good job at, like, again, showing that it wants to be kind to the teenage girl character.
It cleans her room.
Yeah, she's like folding her clothes, like putting her books away, like just being really kind. So it just really shows off the bat that like it's there for her for some reason. Yeah.
And then with Wes Holland's character, who is the asshole other friend, Ricky, I believe is his name.
Ryan. And like, yeah, everyone's an asshole because we have to set a baseline because Ryan's also a character in this movie.
Boy, is Ryan real prick. Because like it starts out and you're just like, oh, like, is this presence just worried about Claire losing her virginity, or like what's going on before we really start?
I don't think she was a virgin.
And then
I'm gonna throw that out there.
Well, you know, whatever, losing her innocence. You know, I didn't really think about Claire's virginity very much. My mistake. But when the fentanyl comes out, that's when this movie, I guess you could say, becomes horrific in a way. Which, like, I mean, when he's putting it in there and then you just see the like table starting to shake, you're just like, come on, shake the fucking table. Like, yes. And then it goes down. You see him like spazzing out. He's so mad he lost his fentanyl. Like, it's like, fuck you.
Like, I'll be honest, like, they don't like come out and say it's fentanyl, right? It's like, you don't understand what Ryan is doing. Cause like, he's already slept with this girl with PTSD. He's like easily seduced the broken girl, right? And like they've already had sex, and then he's drugging her. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's not how you've got it backwards. That's like, this is a reverse date rape. Like, you have no idea what's going on. But his plan fails.
Yes.
Chloe is saved, and then we go on. But then he comes back to the house. He ambience Tyler so he can try to date rape her again. But like she's like, I'm not into getting date raped tonight. And then we learn it's not Rufinol, it's fentanyl, because Ryan's like a serial. She would have made him a serial killer, because that would have been the third person he killed. He just drugs girls with fentanyl so they pass out, and then he puts like saran wrap on their face and smothers them, so it looks like they die from a fentanyl overdose, which is fucking diabolical for like a 16-year-old kid.
And so and that's where this movie becomes somewhat of a horror movie for sure. Yeah. When you think about these things, like, it's horrifying for one reason, because this probably has happened somewhere in middle America. Where
he's such a fucked up character. When he, like, his monologue, like when she's passed out, is like one of the most fucked up things.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, and it's not like it comes out of nowhere either. So like that's where it's like right away you see this guy, no matter what he's in, you're just gonna be like, this guy's shady. Like he's never gonna be able to just play like a good guy. Like because it's just like his face is very ominous. Like it just is like, but like he's like the popular kid from school. So Tyler's like all about hanging out with them too, so he's totally fine with it because status and everything like that. And you know, there's some things that just don't need to be said with regards to like, we're staying in the same town, so you can like, it's mentioned a little bit where it's like this would still be the school district, but it's not like right after it says the school district, you're like, oh, that's good, Chris, because now he can be on the swim team for the same school. Like they leave that part out, which it's like, again, good job, Steve. That's like in David Cope or whoever the writer is of Jurassic Park and many other great movies there, you know, and so I feel it's very earned as we get to the conclusion. And when the presence, do we want to get to the conclusion now?
Well, just mention that there's a medium that comes and like tries to learn, and the medium drops all the hints you need to Encyclopedia Brown what the presence is, because she's like, the spirit is like, you know, jealous, and it's trapped, and it's not, it floats through forwards and backwards in time. Once she said that, I was like, I know exactly what's going on. What's going on, Aaron?
Yeah. So we get to the end, and Ryan comes back. I want to call him Ricky over and over again. He should have been named Ricky. That's a critique. But Ryan, he was more of a Ricky, let's be honest.
He's definitely a Ricky.
Like, Slick Rick, but Slick Ryan comes back to the house, ambience, Ty, and you know, he's like completely out. And I was like, you know, what's going on here? Like, how much is this guy going to turn? Is he about to like massacre this house? Like, what's happening? He goes upstairs, finally is able to drug Claire, the monologue, as you mentioned, and then the presence starts to like panic. And it's just like, you can feel the panic of the movements. It's like it's still really smooth. I don't know how Steven Soderbergh moves at so great.
Moves so fast. Like he got from upstairs to downstairs so fast.
And it was so smoothly too that I figured it was on a dolly. Maybe it was, but whatever. Like that, this 60-plus-year-old Steven Soderbergh moving with the grace of a 16-year-old girl. I believe he was a girl, a 16-year-old, running downstairs, somehow like is able to shake awake Ty like enough that he's still like drug induced, but like can like stumble up the stairs. And you know, they mentioned how the windows can't open up there. There's only one way out, and it's with both of them through the glass, Ty and Ryan. Ty saves his sister, and in the end dies himself with Ryan. Like, and you know, it's a pretty dramatic start, close to the movie. And then, but I thought looking back now, I don't know how else you end that. So I thought it was a really
tight,
perfect ending. What are your thoughts on the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ending as a whole, again, the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, okay, like it makes sense. I think in particular, I mean, yeah, it was great to see the murderer guy die. I was not, he also really annoyed. I mean, he's supposed to upset you. I think one of the bigger critiques that I've heard other people have this critique as well is a lot of the dialogue. And I think that the dialogue from him in particular with those monologues, I wasn't a huge fan of those. I thought they were I don't know what the right word to describe it is. I just didn't like it.
it was like over the top, but like when you're by yourself and you think no one's listening, I buy it. Like,
Sure.
No, he was talking to himself basically.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fucking psycho.
Fine.
Let's get over to those over. Abby, we're gonna start with you.
Start with the tie of our group.
So I mean, for the more I thought about this movie, I would probably rate it a little bit higher than I initially would. Not by much more, but a little bit higher, because I even from the beginning, I did appreciate the technical aspect of everything. The more I think about the very, very end of the movie, and the son character being the presence throughout it, I mean, I do kind of appreciate that it didn't impact me that much, because especially with the mom's reaction, I didn't like that character, and it probably makes me sound really terrible, but like I just didn't feel anything for her. So that all of the character stuff and everything, put in the technical aspect and like some of the other character things, I'd give it a 3 now.
Okay, you can just say you don't think Zach would save me. That's fine. Aaron.
I think Zach would save me. Maybe not. No. Well, yeah, I really like this movie quite a bit. I'm not sure. We'll see how 2025 goes. I highly doubt it does make my top 10, but it's a very good movie. And it's a movie I really am shocked got to be in Dolby. That was awesome. That really, like, it lived up to that. It's a smaller movie. I feel like there was a ton of passion. Again, Chris Sullivan is a new actor for me that I'm going to be interested in what he does, because I thought he was really, really good here and as Taserface. So like 2 for 2 and from Taserface. Just I didn't know that before the movie. I wish I did. But I'm going to give it a strong 4 videotapes. This is a very, very strong 4.25 if I'm being honest, but I'm not going to overwork the graphics team here at Why We Love Horror with quarters of videotapes. But yeah, this is one that I would be happy to watch again down the line as well, to just see it in the full context of fully understanding where it went as well. But yeah, Steven Soderbergh, like, I'd love to see him make a couple more horror movies. He probably won't make another one for like 10 years. But, when he gets back to that in his cycle after like blockbuster, rom-com, like whatever else, like he's going to do, Ocean's
Horror
8.
movie.
Horror movie. Like, sure, because he does well. And, we know how to look past a little bit of writing with horror movies, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. I am right in the same camp, by the way. 4 for me as well. You're 100% right. Like it could, if it was a short movie, it would be like 5-star banger.
70 minutes, it's perfect.
But you can't drag this out, because then you would have just over padded it and hurt it. So I think you're doomed as a feature for this to be. You're doomed to have a 4-star movie, Mr. Soderbergh. I'm sorry, you've doomed yourself.
He has a ton of 4-star movies in his career.
And you don't have to watch Chris Sullivan's entire filmography, because he's also in a movie called Agnes, which is fucking horrible. So
okay, I'll just start.
Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and see. It's still the Why We Love Horror Challenge for 2025, just like it is every week. So
I've lost it.
And it's week 4. That's where you can go. All the prompts are there. Join us, don't join us. If you join us, freaking let us know what's going on in your life. We don't want you to just say you're joining and then you just do your own thing. We care about you, so let us know what you're doing. It's week 4. It's watch a movie from the Horrorville's top 50 of 2021. So their very first inaugural list. We ended on me, so I'll start with me. I watched something I never would have even knew existed if it wasn't for the Horrorville list. It is a animated Polish movie, and it's very crudely drawn in more ways than one. It's called Kill It and Leave This Town. It's supposedly like basically this Polish animator. It's just like his family life experience, and it's like I thought I was high. Like I was like, am I high watching this movie? And it goes on for like 90 minutes. It's like stuff I didn't think I would ever see. I saw, and it's all like just like line drawings. And I'm still underselling it. Like you need to see it to believe it, but you're gonna ask yourself, why did I watch it? but you're gonna appreciate it. But you're gonna ask, was I drugged? That was killing me.
Did you get visited by Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan fentanyled me, I think. Aaron?
So I watched the top movie from, or one of the top movies from the list, which was History of the Occult. It's an Argentinian movie about a journalist who's on the last episode of 60 Minutes After Midnight, which is a show in Argentina. I'll say right off the bat, if it sounds like a little bit like Late Night with the Devil from that setup, that's what it reminded me of. So if you like Late Night with the Devil, this is a very different story. It's about a journalist who gets into like an occult and the conspiracies within the government. It's shot in all black and white, which is really sticks with you. So don't worry about that. But it doesn't take you to a time and place because it takes place now. But it's a very good movie. And I really enjoyed it. It's under 90 minutes, yet it really takes its time and digs in its claws to you as it goes before revealing a lot of kind of the more disturbing aspects of it. But I recommend this to anybody. I think this is one that will grow over time as people find it. History of the Occult.
And what'd you watch, Abby?
So I watched a movie from Shudder called The Medium, which was awesome. Like it was really, really, really good. It's a movie from Thailand. And I'm really afraid to try to pronounce the director's name. But it's just
Banjong Pisathanakun.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. But no, it's like a possession type movie. I've heard a lot of people compare it to The Wailing, which I haven't seen, so I can't really attest to that.
It's different.
It's different. Okay, well, never mind then. But no, it's a possession movie, but it's also shot in like a documentary type style, found footage sort of thing. So like the first half is just a lot of buildup, but it's not boring. And then the second half is crazy. Like it's really, really crazy and dark. And there's some things that I was like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting it. Yeah. So I would really recommend The Medium. It's very long. It's the reason I haven't watched The Wailing, but this one is definitely worth it also.
Yeah, definitely. I would second The Medium kicks ass. And
I don't know how I haven't seen this yet. I've really failed my genre.
I would say, The Medium is just like it's like your typical found footage. They're not really fucking around and finding out. They're just wrong place, wrong time found footage kind of. And whereas The Wailing is like a crime procedural, technically, I guess, but like not like here. It's more like a bumbling cop, which is weird, but weird choice, but it works. All right, that'll do it for this week. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Go back to that Letterboxd challenge at that website. Join that. Be cool. Schedule here is always the same. Sunday is Why We Love Horror Television. Monday is Versus. Thursday, you're watching it. That's Why We Love Horror. There should have been some special editions this week. Hope you saw those. We drop them randomly.
They're special.
Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia every week. So until next time, I'm John Moore, and that over there, that's Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks. And we'll see you next time here on Why We Love Horror.